story of Moses is one of the most well-known and influential narratives in the Bible, chronicling the life of the Israelite prophet who delivered his people from slavery in Egypt and led them to the Promised Land. However, one aspect of Moses' life that is often overlooked or misunderstood is the identity and significance of his first wife, Zipporah. Zipporah's story is shrouded in mystery and intrigue, with many unanswered questions and conflicting accounts in the biblical text. Who was this woman that became the wife of one of the most important figures in Judeo-Christian history? What was her role and influence in Moses' life and mission? And why has her story been so overshadowed and ignored compared to other biblical wives and women? Zipporah is first introduced in the book of Exodus, when Moses flees Egypt after killing an Egyptian and takes refuge in the land of Midian. There, he encounters the 7 daughters of a Midianite priest named Jethro, who are being harassed by shepherds at a well. Moses defends the women and helps water their flocks, and this encounter leads him to be welcomed into Jethro's household. It is here that Moses meets and marries Zipporah, Jethro's daughter. The biblical text states that Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses his daughter Zipporah, Exodus 2 verse 21. This simple statement belies the profound significance of this union, as Zipporah would become Moses' first wife and the mother of his 2 sons, Gershom and Eleazar. But who exactly was Zipporah? The Bible provides few details about her background and character, aside from her identity as Jethro's daughter. However, by examining the contextual and cultural clues in the text, we can begin to piece together a more nuanced portrait of this enigmatic figure. Firstly, it's important to note that Zipporah was a Midianite, not an Israelite. The Midianites were a nomadic people who inhabited the regions of modern-day Saudi Arabia and Jordan, and they had a long history of interaction and intermarriage with the Israelites. This means that Zipporah's cultural and religious background was distinct from that of Moses and the Israelites, which likely had a significant impact on her relationship with her husband and her role in his life. Secondly, the fact that Jethro, Zipporah's father, was a priest suggests that she came from a family of religious and spiritual significance. The Midianites were known for their reverence for the divine and their mastery of sacred rituals and traditions, and Zipporah's status as the daughter of a priest would have imbued her with a certain degree of authority and respect within her community. Finally, the biblical text portrays Zipporah as a strong-willed and independent woman, capable of defending her family and standing up to the shepherds at the well. This suggests that she was not merely a passive or subservient wife, but rather a woman with her own agency and voice within the household. Zipporah's role in Moses' life and mission is a complex and multifaceted one, with both overt and subtle influences that have been largely overlooked or misunderstood by scholars and theologians over the centuries. One of the most significant ways in which Zipporah impacted Moses' life was through the birth of their 2 sons, Gershom and Eleazar. The biblical text states that Zipporah gave birth to Gershom while Moses was in exile in Midian, and that this son's name was chosen to reflect Moses' status as a sojourner in a foreign land, Exodus 2 verse 22. Later, when Moses is called by God to return to Egypt and confront Pharaoh, Zipporah accompanies him, and it is during this journey that she gives birth to their 2nd son, Eleazar. The significance of these sons cannot be overstated, as they represent the continuation of Moses' lineage and the fulfillment of God's promise to make him a great nation. Moreover, Zipporah's Midianite heritage may have played a crucial role in shaping Moses' understanding of the divine and his relationship with God. The Midianites were known for their reverence for the one God, Yahweh, and their mastery of sacred rituals and traditions. It is possible that Zipporah's influence and teachings introduced Moses to these spiritual practices and beliefs, which may have augmented and strengthened his own faith and understanding of his divine calling. This theory is supported by the biblical account of the incident at the night encampment on the way, Exodus 4 verses 24 to 26, in which Zipporah performs a mysterious ritual to save Moses' life, suggesting that she possessed a deep knowledge of sacred rites and the power of the divine. Additionally, Zipporah's role as a mediator and interpreter between Moses and his Midianite father-in-law, Jethro, cannot be overlooked. When Moses is reunited with Jethro after the Exodus, it is Zipporah who serves as a bridge between the 2 men, translating and facilitating their communication and exchange of ideas. This suggests that Zipporah was not only a trusted confidant to Moses, but also a valued advisor and strategist in his mission to liberate the Israelites. Despite the profound impact that Zipporah seems to have had on Moses' life and mission, her story takes an abrupt and puzzling turn after the Exodus. In the biblical narrative, Zipporah and her sons suddenly disappear from the account, with no clear explanation or resolution to their fate. The last time we see Zipporah is in Exodus 18, when she and her sons are reunited with Moses in the wilderness. Jethro, Zipporah's father, comes to visit Moses and brings Zipporah and the boys with him. It is here that Zipporah performs the ritual to save Moses' life, and Jethro offers valuable counsel and advice to Moses on how to govern the Israelites. However, after this pivotal encounter, Zipporah and her sons vanish from the biblical text. There is no further mention of them or any indication of what happened to them. This sudden disappearance has led to a great deal of speculation and debate among scholars and theologians over the centuries. Some have suggested that Zipporah may have been sent back to Midian by Moses, perhaps due to tensions or conflicts that arose between her Midianite heritage and the Israelite community. Others have speculated that she may have died or been separated from Moses and the Israelites during their journey through the wilderness. Regardless of the reason for her disappearance, the lack of closure and resolution in the biblical narrative has contributed to the ongoing mystery and intrigue surrounding Zipporah's role and significance in the life of Moses and the Israelite Exodus. Despite the relative obscurity of her story, Zipporah's legacy and significance in the biblical narrative and the history of the Israelite people cannot be overstated. As the first wife of Moses, she held a unique and pivotal position in the life of one of the most influential figures in Judeo-Christian history. Zipporah's very presence in Moses' life challenges the traditional patriarchal narratives that often dominate the biblical accounts. Her independent spirit, her spiritual knowledge and influence, and her role as a mediator and advisor to Moses all suggest that she was a woman of considerable power and authority within the household and the broader community. Moreover, Zipporah's Midianite heritage and her potential role in shaping Moses' understanding of the divine and his relationship with God have significant implications for our understanding of the origins and development of Israelite monotheism. The idea that Moses' first wife, a non-Israelite, may have played a formative role in his spiritual awakening and his divine calling to lead the Israelites out of Egypt is a provocative and compelling possibility that deserves deeper exploration. Unfortunately, due to the patriarchal biases and power structures that have dominated the interpretation and transmission of biblical narratives over the centuries, Zipporah's story has been largely overshadowed and marginalized. Her role and significance have been minimized or overlooked, with the focus instead remaining on the more prominent male figures in the story, such as Moses, Aaron, and Pharaoh. However, as we continue to re-examine and re-evaluate the biblical texts through the lens of gender studies, cultural studies, and post-colonial theory, the importance of Zipporah's story and the need to restore her to her rightful place in the grand narrative of the Israelite Exodus is becoming increasingly clear. By reclaiming Zipporah's story and recognizing her as a complex, multifaceted, and influential figure in the life of Moses and the Israelite people, we can deepen our understanding of the rich tapestry of biblical history and the diverse voices and perspectives that have shaped it. In conclusion, the story of Zipporah, Moses' first wife, is a compelling and complex one that deserves far more attention and recognition than it has traditionally received. Through a careful examination of the biblical text, the historical context, and the scholarly research, we can begin to uncover the hidden truth about this enigmatic figure and her profound impact on the life of Moses and the Israelite people. Zipporah's Midianite heritage, her spiritual knowledge and influence, her role as a mediator and advisor, and her status as the mother of Moses' sons all point to the significant and multifaceted ways in which she shaped the course of biblical history. Yet, her story has been largely obscured and overshadowed by the more prominent male figures in the narrative. By reclaiming Zipporah's story and recognizing her rightful place in the grand narrative of the Israelite Exodus, we can not only deepen our understanding of this pivotal moment in biblical history, but also challenge the patriarchal biases and power structures that have long dominated the interpretation and transmission of these sacred texts. Ultimately, the story of Zipporah, Moses' mysterious first wife, is a testament to the rich and diverse tapestry of biblical history, and a reminder of the countless untold stories and unsung heroes that have yet to be fully recognized and celebrated. By shining a light on Zipporah's life and legacy, we can honor the profound and lasting impact of this enigmatic figure and the countless other women whose stories have long been overlooked and forgotten.